Hey there, Sag, and welcome to your 2020 Creativity Tarot Intuitive Reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these videos for artists, entrepreneurs, anyone who's interested in their personal growth, spirituality, psychological healing, or self-expression in any way. So if any of those areas of life are interesting to you, please go ahead and keep listening. I also want to mention that because these are readings looking at the full next year, it's very possible that some of these messages may not make sense to you right now. And if that's the case, I just wanted to encourage you to come back to this video throughout the year of 2020 because it's very possible that you could see a lot of these thematic connections starting to take place as you go through the year. I also want to mention that you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and I do recommend that you watch all three if you have all three. But some people have the same, sun sign as their rising sign, or, have the same sun and moon sign. So just whatever signs that you have as your primary kind of focal points in your chart, you can watch the reading for that, and it will hopefully illuminate some things for you and help you plan for the year. Okay, Sagittarius, let's get into your intuitive message. Every reading that I do starts with a meditation, and while I was connecting to your energy for the year of 2020, I had a really strong theme of partnerships coming through. So I don't know for some of you if that's really kind of centrally focused around maybe finding a partner in your business, or potentially starting a new business with some kind of partner or somebody who can help you, who can complement your talents and abilities with their talents and abilities, and sort of you can find a good mirroring effect going on, a good compensatory relationship, I think. There's also potentially for some of you a bigger theme on romantic or personal partnerships and personal relationships, and really sorting out whether, if you're partnered, whether that relationship that you're in right now is working for you or if it's not. And if it is not, then you may be making some changes there in 2020. There could also be, for those of you who are single, like a really strong focus on a particular relationship coming into your life, or, maybe just connecting with someone who is going to have a very profound impact on your life. So there's a lot of themes of partnerships, and part of the way that I was being given this message, my guides communicate to me mainly through metaphor and images. And I see someone kind of like they have a silhouette, and I see kind of almost the line of their chakras. And then as another person kind of comes closer to them, it's almost like I can see, and I can still see it in my mind's eye, I can see the solar plexus of the first person, that chakra burning brighter. So I'm even getting chills saying this because it feels to me like you could either be putting it out there to the universe that you're ready for some kind of partnership. Like I said before, it could be any kind, but you want somebody who you can support and kind of encourage their strengths, and you also want somebody who's going to support and encourage yours. And that was the effect that I was seeing this other person kind of having on you, is like as they come closer, it's like you become even stronger in yourself. Like you have this solar plexus kind of lighting up and kind of charging. It's like a battery, almost like charging that energy, but it's you doing it for yourself. It's not like the other person is doing that for you. It's just that for whatever reason, the way that they interact with you is in such a way that it strengthens you, or it kind of encourages you. Like they sort of want you to be weird and open and unique, and they want to encourage kind of the quirky things about you maybe, or they genuinely appreciate some of the things about you that are silly, or that you might be a little shy about, but this person's like genuinely likes it, and so it kind of strengthens this part of your consciousness. It strengthens, the solar plexus is all about self-confidence and desire and knowing what we want in the world and feeling confident that we can go forward and sort of make that happen for ourselves. It's self-esteem and self-confidence. So again, it's not like you're getting that from this person, because that's always an inside job. How we develop that is always completely internal. but it helps to have people around us that are genuinely positive and uplifting. That's something that I see as a really strong potential for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards, and we will get some more information on this. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Clear loving guidance for Sagittarius. Clear loving guidance for Sagittarius. Okay. Okay. Sagittarius, clear guidance for Sagittarius. Okay, so I'm going to look also at an animal spirit oracle card for you. This is going to give us an animal energy that's going to be guiding you, protecting you, and also giving us some insights into your transformations this year. Wow. So we have the hawk, which is, this I have to say is one of the most powerful cards in this deck. Anytime that I've received this card for myself, it always has been during a particularly profound time period in my life. And when I'm seeing this, I really feel like this represents, first of all, hawks are known to kind of carry news with them. So this is a message, first of all, for you, Sagittarius, to be open to new things and to expect the universe to be delivering you some new energy, or literally a piece of news that is going to change your life in some way. Something is kind of riding on the back of these wings of the hawk that is coming into your life, and it's being brought into your life through a spiritual avenue, and it's for a kind of higher reason. So this is a really profound time for you, Sagittarius. 2020 is going to be about new developments in your life. It's also about having a clear perspective and an overview of what's going on, and taking the long view, not being limited in terms of what you're focusing on. I think this could be a year, if some of you have been feeling like you've been kind of focusing more on your day-to-day life with the hawk card. I feel like 2020, as we go into 2020, it's like you're taking the long-term view of things, and you're seeing things maybe 5-10 years out, which, you know, that may not always be your habitual thought process on things, especially given each of you is going to have different unique life circumstances that are going to require you to focus yourself in different ways. But I do feel like this overview kind of energy means that you're going to have more insight into the long-term trends of your life this year. So let's take a look at how these energies may play out as we go throughout the year. We've got King of Swords, who, look, has a hawk on his hand here. So again, wow, super strong hawk energy. We have the Eight of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. We've got Four of Wands, the Tower, the Hanged Man, and the Emperor, and that's in August, approximately around August. These energies can be quite fluid. September, we have the Star, beautiful, Two of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups at the end of the year. So this is beautiful, and I think it's really interesting that you go into this year as the King of Swords, which is not a card that I would normally associate with a Sagittarian. Let's face it. I mean, it's like a very airy card. And you are fire, which is a complementary element to the element of air. But, you know, there's something very strategic and very, I want to say, like, objective about this card that you're coming into the year with. This is also sort of like your theme card for the year of 2020. So the first card in this spread tells me a lot of the theme of the year. And we also have the Eight of Wands next to it, which I kind of read the second card along with it, even, you know, though these are referring to the beginning of the year, as also like in general themes that you're setting out to experience. And what I see here is like a really powerful strategist taking aim in 2020. And this makes sense because you have had your ruler, Jupiter, in your sign during 2019. And he's actually moving into Capricorn as I'm recording this, and or right around this time. And so there's something about this energy when we have your ruler moving into Capricorn. Capricorn is symbolically your second house, which is all about finances and your belongings, movable wealth, things that you have, maybe even real estate as well, holdings, wealth, anything that makes you feel secure. It's also a very earthy placement in the chart, so it can have to do with like the physical body, specifically like the throat and chin area, this kind of part of the body. So those are kind of the associations of when Jupiter is moving into that area of your life. You're going to typically experience, wherever Jupiter goes, you're going to experience some kind of expansion there. So with this, it feels to me like for some of you, if finances are a really big focal point for you, you could have been like setting the stage for some significant improvements in your finances this year with your ruler in, your sign. But then, as Jupiter moves into Capricorn, he's going into your symbolic second house. So he's bringing some kind of gift or some kind of expansion to the second house areas of life. So that's what I'm saying. If you're focusing on finances, this could actually be a really good time for you to take some strategic actions. So no matter when you're listening to this, I want you to take out a pen and paper, maybe after you listen to this reading, and start kind of working through your financial plan if you don't already have one memorized for yourself. This would be a really great time to check in with your expenses as well, budgeting, and then also thinking about like taking aim towards some kind of higher trajectory. Maybe you would like to invest in like an investment property, and maybe that's something new for you. Maybe you want to have a rental property, or maybe you want to buy a home for the first time for yourself to live in. Maybe you'd like to start investing in something that's going to give you passive income, or maybe even retirement funds and things like that. This is a really great time to start researching and studying kind of what your options are, given your unique situation, Sag, because I see 2020 as being a time when you can take aim and really succeed with something that especially is financial in basis, or even that has to do with like overall life planning as well. So that's kind of what we're seeing is right as you go into 2020, there's a sense of you kind of just having your head screwed on, right? Basically, like you really know what you want, you know kind of what you're going to do to get there. You're fairly organized, I would say, looking at this King of Swords, it feels like you're very clear on, like we see with the hawk, it's like having that higher, broader vision, and then as well having that sense of news coming in or help coming, to lift you in a sense, to help you accomplish your goals. So when you are prepared and then the opportunity comes, that's when you can really take advantage of it. And I feel like that's the energy of 2020 for you, especially as you go into the year. You're very poised for a success. As we go deeper into the year, so March and April. March, we have the Knight of Swords and we have the Ace of Wands. So it's really interesting and compelling that we go from a king of, with the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So we have the King of Swords and the Eight of Wands, and then we go to a lesser royalty card with the Knight. So we're going from a King of Swords to a Knight of Swords, and we're going from an Eight of Wands to an Ace of Wands. So you can see there's very clearly a reduction and a simplification that happens between January and April. You might start the year taking on a lot, and I think you are being very strategic about it because you have the King of Swords here, so obviously you're thinking about what you're doing. But I feel like maybe what you're doing in the beginning of the year is you're kind of setting this intention to sort of throw all of the spaghetti at the wall and just see what sticks. And that can actually be a really good strategy depending on where you're at in your business, where you're at in your financial life, or where you're at in terms of your creativity and your creative abilities. Maybe you're kind of multi-passionate and you're thinking, I'd really like to have a business for myself, or a second business for myself, but I don't know if it should be like this or that, or this, that, or that. There's like 3 options. Maybe the beginning of 2020 is about calculated experimentation. So you're going to offer, maybe if you already have a business, you're going to offer 3 new or a couple of new platforms or products or services, and you're just going to see what sticks. You're going to plan a review. This is my advice to you, Sag. Plan and write down in your calendar or set an alarm on your phone. Plan something for, I'm going to say April 20th, something around there, between April 20th and April 30th. Plan to sit down and do a review of your numbers if you have a business, a review of your lifestyle if you are a career person and you're trying to balance that with parenting or, whatever your other projects are. I feel like there's going to be an opportunity to review everything that you've accomplished up till that point, and it's going to give you so much clarity. It could even be before April, but I want to give you enough time to really see what sticks here, because I feel like the beginning portion of 2020, it is about calculated experimentation for you. It's about trying multiple new things and seeing what you enjoy the most, first of all, and what other people are responding to the most. Because when you find that thing that you enjoy doing, that you're good at, and that other people will pay you for, that's like the gold right there. That is like life purpose energy. So if you're in the market for that, Sag, if you don't completely have a total sense of clarity on what your life purpose is at this time, I feel like you could really find it, or you could make really significant strides in that direction in the first few months of the year. But you're going to have to plan a review, like I said, to remind yourself, because you might forget, depending on when you're watching this reading, you could forget about it. So set a reminder in your phone or write it in your calendar right now before you forget, because I feel like there's going to be a really good opportunity for you to review everything, all of the data, and also reflect emotionally on what you feel about this thing is that you're doing. And you'll be able to proceed with a lot of success. And we see that kind of going on with the cards coming forward. So we have May is a 4 of Wands. June, we have the Tower. In July, we have the Hanged Man. So what we see is that May, we go from the Ace of Wands to the 4 of Wands between April and May. So there's some kind of growth, like some kind of creative growth, some kind of milestone being reached in May for some of you. There could be like a really good, just like a really positive energy coming through for you around May. That represents some kind of a completion, some kind of a goal being achieved, some kind of accomplishment. And I don't know that you're going to feel like you've just accomplished everything that you sought out to do, but you're definitely feeling really good about what is going on at this time of the year. But it's also natural that we have the Tower and the Hangman showing up after that, because between April and June, there's a lot of planets going into retrograde. We have outer planets going into retrograde, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto during that time. We also have Mercury going retrograde, and there's also Venus retrograde this year as well. So there's going to be some significant retrogrades going on during 2020, and everybody's going to feel this energy like somewhere in their reading. And for you, I'm kind of seeing it with the Tower and then the Hanged Man. It could be that with the Tower, there's like some kind of a realization that you're having. It could be that there's some kind of disruption for some of you in June. I don't see this as being, inherently negative or anything like that, because you have really positive cards surrounding it. Even if we were to look almost like at the Lenormand box kind of energy of, you know, every card that's touching this card is actually quite good. So I don't see this Tower energy as being anything that you can't handle. And I also don't necessarily see it as something that all of you are going to experience as subjectively kind of unwanted. Like this could represent some kind of like spiritual growth in June. Yeah, there's something significant. You are going to have your full moon in Sagittarius at some time. I'm not exactly sure the date, but it'll be, you know, in Gemini season. So you're going to have that, and that could be like a significant marker for you where you are coming to terms with like an ending with something, or you are discovering some kind of clarity about something in your life that is going to shake things up. But I don't see you being able to immediately take a lot of action on this. I feel like this is one of those kind of transformations that you're going to have to just sit with for a minute, Sag, because you have the Hanged Man following. So this represents actually a period of like peacefulness and recovery from like some kind of thing being shaken up. For some of you, that Tower energy could come through and resonate as like you facing a major fear that you've had for a long time. That could be part of it. And then in that case, it's like the Hanged Man represents this time of like recuperating and recovering from that. For others of you, there could be some other kind of climatic disruption in your life. But like I said before, I don't see this as being something inherently negative. I see this as being something, it's a change whose time has come. Let's put it that way. With the Emperor following the Hanged Man, I see you kind of regaining some sense of structure and a feeling of maybe control over your own life again. And I feel like there's a sense with these cards, because here these people are like flailing and falling out of the tower. Here this person is hanging upside down and he's wearing regular clothes. And here someone is sitting in their throne looking out over this environment that they seem to have curated, and they're wearing armor. So I feel like there's a sense of you almost kind of, yeah, regaining your sense of sovereignty in a specific situation in your life, Sag. And I see that kind of happening in August. You could be maybe traveling between June and July, or, you know, something kind of getting you out of your normal routine during June and July. And then August, it's like you're back home, you're ready to work, or you're getting back into your routine, and you're sort of feeling like you can really put a lot of energy into the structure of your life and to really making everything feel, what's the word for that? It's like feeling reinforced. Like the reinforcements arrive. That's what I want to title like August for you, Sag, is like the reinforcements arrive. So if you feel a little bit depleted in June or July, it could be because you're sort of like in a transitional time period, so you don't have as many resources as you normally do. Like when we're moving, for example, we don't have all of our stuff available to us. We have to kind of make do with, you know, the bare essentials for our self-care, etc. But then when we feel like the Emperor, it's like we feel really seated in our own throne again. So that's kind of how I'm seeing that. We have September as the Star and October as the Two of Wands. So after you have this period of like the reinforcements arrive, you're feeling stronger again in yourself, you're feeling rooted again and very grounded after perhaps a period of transition, transformation, or even travel. Then once we go through that period of like re-strengthening, then we have this very spiritual energy coming through actually in Virgo season. And I feel like this is going to be a very replenishing time for those of you who are involved in spiritual arts, or for example, if you do creative work as kind of like your main source of income, or it's a very big part of your life. The feeling that I get from this is actually that if there's something that you like love to do and you're lucky enough that that is kind of something that you get to do every day, or it's something that you rely on for income, you're going to reconnect with your joy with that practice in a major way in September. And I feel like it's actually going to be something that helps you feel safe and helps you feel alive and inspired and rejuvenated. So yeah, there's a sense of also just trusting with the Star card, and really this is like a vulnerability. This is like a willing, loving vulnerability that we embrace when we embrace a spiritual perspective on life. Like when we move from being, more atheistic or kind of just not really believing in anything that we can't see, hear, taste, smell, touch with our five senses. When we go beyond that into the realm of, the sixth sense and beyond, and we accept, the truth of maybe things like life after death or the existence of consciousness after death, when we really bridge the gap between our sensory existence and our extrasensory existence, we're embracing a certain vulnerability of faith. We're embracing a certain hopefulness or a certain willingness to be in touch with energies that we can't always explain with our rational mind. And so the star has a very deep meaning in that sense. And you could be feeling more connected spiritually in September. You could be feeling more psychically tuned in. You could be feeling just like you believe in yourself to stretch and do things beyond anything that you've ever done before. But that strength is coming from having that spiritual connection and that faith. Following that, in October, we have the Two of Wands. So there's like a rethinking of kind of what you want to do moving forward. I feel like by the time you get to October of 2020, you are starting to almost really plan 2021. You're already your mind is already in 2021 because you know how much you can accomplish from where you are right now. Like this guy has got his cat with him and he's looking out over this, broad landscape. He has the world in his hands and he's thinking, I'm grounded, I have resources, I have, trust, I can do basically anything that I set my mind to. So I feel like October is a very optimistic time. I feel like it's also a time in which you can really be forward thinking in terms of your goals. November may be a little bit of, it might feel like you have to really just buckle down and do some work in November that you've been putting off before, or it's like a month of dedication, I really see. And that's actually when your season begins in November. So I feel like leading up to your birthday season, Sag, it'll probably feel quite busy. It'll probably feel like the material expansion of the star. So the star represents that inner faith and that inner emotional experience of trust in spirit. The Seven of Pentacles is like the outer manifestation of that, right? Because if we're really trusting spirit, then we're going to do this. We're going to plant our seeds. We're going to tend to our garden, even though we know there's no literal guarantee sitting on our desk that says you will have a successful harvest. We don't have that guarantee, but we are proceeding with that deeper trust and that sense of being in tune with ourselves and with the intuitive connection of our life. And that was one of the things that Carl Jung defined as the intuitive type of person, is that they're sensing when something is coming and when something is going. And they just sense it. It's not like they are computing it. It's just they're sensing when something is coming closer and when something is going further away. So this is you acting on that intuitive sensing, because you are saying, basically through the work that you're doing, you're saying, I will put my effort into this. I'll roll up my sleeves. I will act on this intuition. I will act on these concepts and these ideas and this passion and this self-trust that's coming to me naturally. I will act upon this without having that, exoteric guarantee. And so I feel like that is an important stage. December, we have Page of Cups. So there's a sense, again, of deep trust and vulnerability with this card. I feel like the whole last row of your reading, like so the first or the last few months of 2020, are looking to me like you're almost kind of feeling like a kid again in a way. I don't know exactly why this is because it's probably going to be unique for each one of you, but I feel like at the end of the year, you're kind of there's this aura of anticipation. There's this aura of excitement about something that brings you joy, and you know that it does, and deep down in your heart you know that something is working out really well, but at the same time you are, bound to like the earthly efforts that you have to, the obligations and the responsibilities that you have, basically, you're bound to those. But you're taking them on with, consciousness because it's something that brings you joy. So it's like finding a way to be at ease with your work, finding a way to enjoy like everything that you're doing, enjoy the process. And in that way, you'll get a lot more done, Sagittarius, because it's not taking as much out of you. If you're just having a good time and you know that you're really connected, emotionally speaking, you're invested in this trajectory that you're setting yourself on at the end of 2020, you know that you're going to be able to do more and more and more, and you're going to actually enjoy your life more and more in subtle ways every single day. You're going to be liking yourself more and more if you continue down this path, because it's going right to the heart of you with the Page of Cups. It's like going right to what you really long for, and maybe even what brought you joy in childhood. That's something that even Carl Jung has said this, and he's been coming up, I think already once in your reading, but he said that basically one of the final stages of the individuation process of like really self-actualizing is bringing like who you were when you were at your most joyful, when you were a child, like reintegrating that into yourself as an adult and being able to live it and express it. And I mean, it's just amazing. So there's like an integration happening with that at the end of 2020, which looks really beautiful and very like just joyful and emotionally satisfying for you. Okay, Sag, I'm gonna get you one last advice card. We have gratitude. Gratitude for all your blessings, because you're a blessed Sagittarius, and every freaking Sagittarius I know is super amazingly blessed. You guys are just lucky, and it's maybe it's because your ruler is the planet of luck, Jupiter. Maybe it's just because you guys are so optimistic all the time and you're willing to try new things, whereas the rest of us maybe feel a little bit more hesitant from time to time. You guys are more vibrationally sort of open to new experiences, but I feel like this is really coming up because it's showing that you are blessed and that what's coming into your life are blessings. And so I really love to see that. Remember to stay in gratitude, Sag, even when you do have those like tricky times or difficult days. It's not the most common for you, but it happens to everyone. And so I want you to really be in touch with how freaking blessed you are, and just be in touch with your sense of gratitude and awe for life. Because when we approach life from a perspective that we're not actually entitled to any of the good things that we have going on, that can also be kind of like a scary realization, because if on some level we have a belief that we're entitled to good things, then it can be scary to let go of that, because we think like, well, if we embrace the fact that we're not entitled to having good things happen to us all the time, then maybe like on some level it's like scary to think that. But when we do embrace the fact that we're not entitled to have blessings coming to us all the time, and we're not entitled even to things that we might think we're contractually entitled to, we can start to really see every single blessing in our lives as like a God-given thing. Like, we can see the beauty and just how awe-inspiring it is that like 99% of the time, really, like 99% of the time, things are actually working out for you. Every breath you take, every meal that you eat, every conversation you have with somebody that loves you and that you love, all of these things are, it's just amazing how it's happening, and all being sort of orchestrated behind the scenes, and nothing is really too badly getting interrupted most of the time. So I feel like this is really about like embracing that attitude of like, oh my God, it is sunny and gorgeous today. Like, wow. You know, even if you live in California or something, just really appreciating that the sun comes up every morning. I mean, the ancients didn't believe that it was a given. The ancients believed that if they didn't do their rituals, the sun wasn't going to rise. So, you know, there's something to that, though. There's something to that just willingness to appreciate like everything that goes well, that really minimizes like those things that aren't totally sorted out yet. And I feel like for you, Sag, you're one of the signs that most readily accepts that, because you came just from Scorpio. So you came from, you know, Scorpio is your 12th house. So it's like, you know what the depths are like, and you're ready to look at a bright future, and appreciate, you know, everything that you have in your life at this time that you've brought through that Scorpio experience. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I'm sending you so much love. If you really enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That's super, super helpful for my channel. I would also really enjoy hearing from those of you who are still with me at the end of this reading. I hope that it's given you something special, and please let me know in the comments if you're still with me. I will be sending you so much appreciation and a virtual hug. So yeah, leave me a little star emoji if you have some emojis, or if you don't have emojis, just type it in and let me know I'm still here. And let me know too if you have any thoughts or feedback on this reading. If you'd like to have me look into your personal energies, I'll put a link below. If you'd like to donate to support my channel, that would be amazing. Even $1 really helps to support all of the time and energy that I put into these readings every single month. And now, you know, this time for the year ahead readings, which is taking a lot of time for me. So if you feel inspired to donate $1 or any amount, I will be sending you a prayer of tenfold gratitude and abundance coming to you for every single donation. So thank you so much, Sag. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you have an amazing year in 2020. Bye.